You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight. Parents and neighbors in shock after a 9-year-old is almost kidnapped on her way to school. And a Roseville neighborhood in shock as well after a mail carrier is robbed at gunpoint of their postal keys. How it's now impacting the entire community. Then in dollars and cents, how to make a store credit card work for you as interest rates increase. ABC10 Plus Tonight starts now. People in a Roseville neighborhood are in shock after a mail carrier had their keys stolen at gunpoint. And now listen to this. The mail of those who live in the 95747 zip code could be at risk. ABC 10's Roxana Elias is live in the studio. And Roxana, I understand you actually spoke to a witness.
I did, Chris, and residents there say they never thought something like this would happen in their community, which they say feels pretty safe. And they feel they want to start being more vigilant now, knowing this person is still out there.
What kind of, threw me like, what is going on, is that I saw the mailman kind of like step back and put his hands up and say, "Oh, whoa, whoa."
Jacqui Isom was sitting outside her home in Roseville when she says she noticed someone approach a USPS mail carrier Tuesday afternoon. At first, she had no idea she was witnessing a robbery. It happened just about a block from her home off of Mockingbird Street.
After that, once, the person was backing up, I saw an individual. He started like jumping next to the car. He was like wearing gray, and then all of a sudden got into the vehicle, and then the vehicle just sped off.
According to Roseville police, the suspect demanded the victim's keys and after a brief struggle showed him a gun and stole the keys. Those keys grant access to all mailboxes in the 95747 zip code.
The keys are designed to make the carrier's route more efficient. Beyond that, I can't talk about where the keys will open mailboxes without giving the person who just stole them ideas.
USPS Postal Inspector Matthew Norfleet says the worker was not injured, but residents are worried this could happen again.
It's honestly kind of concerning. We order a lot of stuff online.
And with the upcoming election, people are already thinking of alternatives when turning in their ballots.
For the election is that I'm just going to use the opportunity to go somewhere else like the main post office to actually, mail in my ballot and everything. I'm not really going to trust and depend on putting it out here for now.
The Postal Inspection Service is asking people to collect their mail daily. You can also place a hold on your mail or track it.
The motivation for this robbery was to get the key, to steal the mail, to cash the checks, and make some money off of it. So if we can shut down that chain and make it so that this crime isn't profitable for the mail thieves, then we'll make it less lucrative.
Residents are being asked to check their surveillance video and report any suspicious behavior if they see anything. Norfleet also says there's up to a $150,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the suspect.
Tonight we start with flood insurance. Not a lot of Californians have it, but others are required to get it. Some want it, but it's growing increasingly unaffordable. So tonight, ABC 10's Becca Habegger takes us to one small Delta town that's pioneering a whole new approach to make sure that their community is covered.
Welcome to Ileton, with a population of about 800 people.
The city is located on land that's entirely surrounded by rivers and sloughs, meaning they're at the mercy of the levees.
Second year I lived here, the water got right up to the bank over there. Looked like maybe a foot below it. I was very nervous, but my neighbor said, don't worry about it. I've seen it higher, so I trusted her and we got through it.
Iva Walton owns Maywa Beer Room on Main Street and moved to Ileton a decade ago. She's also on the city council and chair of the Delta Region Geologic Hazard Abatement District, or GAD, formed about 2 years ago to address flood risk and flood insurance in the city of Ileton.
Our risk is fairly low in a sense. We're still living on a river and anything is possible.
Long-timers here remember the devastating flood of 1972, when one of the levees surrounding the town broke, ushering in feet of floodwater. Ileton's Mayor Pam Boulahan was 9 when her family had to quickly evacuate. She wasn't available for an on-camera interview, but we spoke by phone.
She says she remembers seeing waves of water rushing across fields toward town. Her family was displaced for 2 years as they rebuilt.
Just recently, the California Department of Insurance announced Ileton is the first and only city in the state piloting a new community-based flood insurance initiative, funded for 2 years by a $200,000 grant from the California Department of Water Resources and implemented by GAD.
Less than half the people who live in Ileton have flood insurance, and they have a very real flood risk. So if something were to happen, it could be catastrophic.
We spoke by phone with UC Davis PhD candidate and researcher Kathleen Schaefer, who is driving this initiative. She says the pilot involves buying a community-wide flood insurance policy, and if floodwaters reach a certain level, all property owners in town will automatically get a payout upfront of up to $10,000 to spend on whatever they need in the immediate aftermath.
It would be a nice assurance that you're not just stuck high, well, I can't say high and dry, but low and wet. You're not just stuck, so there'd be a way to start taking care of yourself, your family, and your property.
Project leaders hope to buy that policy with the grant money by the end of the year.
We want to learn from this so that we can perhaps deploy it throughout the Central Valley.
For now, the pilot is grant funded, but Ileton voters will decide next year whether to continue to fund it through property tax.
Leaders of this pilot project are still working out the details, like how to include renters in this insurance policy. That and more they'll be working on in the coming months. In Ileton, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
Victimized on the way to school. Tonight, a man is behind bars and a 9-year-old girl is shaken after a kidnapping attempt.
ABC 10's Gabriel Porras is in Stockton tonight with our top story.
The frightening ordeal played out just steps away from the campus of this public charter school here in downtown Stockton, steps away from safety, which is why police are trying to spread an important message to parents.
Just some of those security measures and protocols really assisted us in our response and being able to relay information to surrounding patrol units.
Stockton police praising the actions of school administrators, bystanders, and the victim's own mother for thwarting a kidnapping Tuesday morning in the 800th block of American Street.
Officers arrived on scene and met with the 9-year-old student and her mother, who were walking on their way to school. When a suspect approached them and made it a gesture of trying to grab the student.
The man accused of preying on the 9-year-old girl, identified by police as 44-year-old Kenneth Collins. Bystanders led officers to him after he ran blocks away.
The suspect was arrested and he was charged with attempted kidnapping as well.
It's just extremely wild.
The close call becoming the top pickup time discussion topic for parents at Kipp University Park School.
Yeah, they emailed me, and then they have like a parent square where they send a mass message out. So I told both of my children to be safe, watch their surroundings.
We just stay together and constantly communicate. It's really important to stay together.
Strength in numbers, just one of the tips that police say could make a difference.
Definitely if you're walking to school, making sure that you're aware of your surroundings at all times. In this case, the mother and the daughter walking to school were very alert of their surroundings.
Attentiveness that avoided a worst-case scenario, but left other parents with an important reminder.
We got to take all the precautions, take care of our kids, because look at what's happening right in front of us in our own communities.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
In a statement, Kipp Public Schools thanked the administrator who called police and said the safety of students is their top priority. Let's turn to weather now. People may be thinking about dinner plans for the evening, Monica, but you're saying things about to cool down out there, huh?
Oh, we like the sound of the cool down, but that means a few more layers, right?
Right, and so for the short term, we will see those cool mornings, but we've got a much bigger change in our overall weather pattern. Fall about to make a big arrival and a statement as well. A lot going on in the Pacific. As you can see, we've got a couple of these little counterclockwise circulation lows brewing out here in the Pacific. Not all of them are going to be direct hits, but we are going to see a change in our weather pattern. So here's a look at the timeline. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You can see Saturday, we're still looking at chilly morning lows above normal highs, pretty much what we've seen all week. Then Sunday, we've got a chance of developing evening showers and lowering snow level. In fact, by Monday, that snow level down to about 6,000 feet. On Tuesday, it's down to about 5,000 feet. Plus, we've got developing fire weather conditions with windy weather ahead as well. So I'm going to break this out into a weather impact alert just for now in the Sierra, highlighting those changing conditions Sunday into Monday, being driving hazards and lowering snow level. Just something we want to let you know about. Prepare ahead if your travel plans take you up into the high country. Let's take a look at those conditions, though, right now in our Big Mountain backyard. Right now, we have clear skies. We've got temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Sunset at 6:16 with our Tahoe conditions at 60. And again, sunny skies. So not much is changing right now. A breezy morning ahead. Tonight we'll see those winds ramping up. Highs will still stay in the mid to upper 70s with morning lows in the low 50s. We'll see pretty pleasant conditions actually for a Thursday once we get past those winds. Tonight, those winds start to pick up out of the northwest at about 10 p.m. That's going to elevate our fire danger slightly. Nothing widespread or extreme, just kind of minor impacts here. We'll watch for that developing situation tonight into early tomorrow. But then the winds actually start to die down into the afternoon, leaving us with a fairly pleasant forecast. Then we dig deeper into the weekend outlook. That's when we start to see this cooler blast of air come in. That's just a touch of the changes we're going to see. We'll also have the chance for showers. We've got a lot of changes developing with this long range forecast. Here comes the low coming in. And as you can see, it's going to sweep through. Saturday, we're still dry. It's during the day on Sunday that we start to see the presence of showers, still mostly rain in the higher elevations. Once that cold air works in, though, that's what's going to bring down that snow line. Highs tomorrow, though, still in the 60s. We're in the 70s for much of the foothills, with highs across the coast staying in the 70s. We're near 80 inland. A beautiful fall day for us. If you want to kick off the weekend up in the high country, no problem. It's just on the back end. Watch out for those changing conditions. Same if you're headed up into the foothills and along the coast, a mix of sun and clouds and highs cooling as well. And you're going to see this in this extended forecast. We'll start the next 3 days with fairly consistent weather. But then as we expand this, you'll see that those conditions are going to be changing, including a start to the next work week with highs in the 60s, a chance for showers. We'll watch that for Halloween as well.
Over the past several months, the ABC10 Weather Impact Team traveled across California, uncovering why some of the state's most popular lakes are dying. Warming temperatures and a changing climate are giving algae and bacteria the upper hand. ABC10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef joins us with part 3 of this 4-part investigation into California's dying lakes.
Lake Tahoe is challenged with keeping the water blue, even when constantly testing for both water quality and clarity. Now, I visited the iconic crystal clear water of Tahoe to see why a warming climate is the biggest challenge to keeping Tahoe blue.
We really rely on the science to figure out what is happening in the lake.
Laura Patton is the Natural Resource Director at the League to Save Lake Tahoe, better known as Keep Tahoe Blue. Patton and other scientists say climate change and recreation are the lake's biggest threats.
We are seeing different impacts from things like air temperature, water temperature, precipitation patterns.
Lake Tahoe is world-renowned for its blue coloring, and there's bumper stickers all over the region that says to keep it that way. But climate change poses a myriad of threats to the lake, so we're asking the question, could Tahoe turn green?
Tahoe's crystal blue water is actually clear. The clear water reflects the blue sky and absorbs red light, making these brilliant hues of blue.
Climate change is absolutely the largest threat to Lake Tahoe's water quality.
She's referring to longer and hotter periods of heat, longer fire seasons, and more erratic storms.
When we think about Lake Tahoe's water quality and the threats that are impacting the water quality today, there are a number of them, and they're interactive. And so we're adding species to the lake unintentionally and often illegally, and those species can reorganize how nutrients are given to algae that grow at the edge of the lake.
Dr. Sudeep Chandra is the director of the University of Nevada's Global Water Center, researching freshwater lakes from Southeast Asia to the Eastern Sierra. Algae most often forms in warm and relatively calm waters. Excess nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus enter the lake via agricultural or stormwater runoff and can act as fertilizer for algae and bacteria growth. Not all algae is toxic though, but when it is, it can be extremely harmful to the ecosystem. Caution signs even line Tahoe's shores when toxic algae overgrowth, known as harmful algal blooms, is detected. Scientists say when a harmful algal bloom happens, options to fight it can be limited. It's more beneficial to stop blooms before they happen.
One thing that we really focus on is actually the prevention of the spread of aquatic invasive plant species. Aquatic invasive plant species make their way primarily through boats. They can also make their way into Tahoe through something like a paddleboard or a kayak. So we really encourage everybody to clean, drain, and dry.
Boat inspections have been mandatory at the lake since 2008, and permanent inspection stations are being placed on both the California and Nevada sides of Tahoe to help keep invasive species out. In 2021, when the Caldor fire raced towards South Lake Tahoe, Dr. Chandra says its smoke impacts were not really what you might expect.
Not all smoke is created equal. When you have fires, the Caldor fire, that heavy smoke and ash that's deposited closer to the fire turns out to be less reactive, and it doesn't grow as much algae. But the fine, thin particles further away from the fire that maybe make the beautiful sunsets that we see, they actually have a lot of nutrients and metals that can stimulate algae growth.
Wildfire smoke can also impact Lake Tahoe's water quality. Patton adds that the Truckee River, which carries sediment and other particle pollution into Lake Tahoe, also impacts the water quality.
The Upper Truckee River is the largest contributor to fine sediment pollution into Lake Tahoe. We're really focused on restoring marshes and meadows so that those can act as big filters. So the more restoration that we can do in Lake Tahoe, the more we can protect it and keep Tahoe blue.
And the federal government is helping. Congress just reauthorized the Lake Tahoe Restoration Act, extending funding of about $300 million to protect Tahoe's water quality. Since 1997, hundreds of federal projects have restored wetlands, reduced forest fire fuels, and helped control invasive species. But still, more can be done.
I'm worried as a conservation scientist that unless we make some of these subtle changes, that in 10 or 20 years, our kids won't have the ability to change things back. And there are little things that we can do that would protect the lake in big ways into the future.
Tomorrow, the ABC10 Weather Impact team travels to Lake Elsinore, Southern California's largest freshwater lake. It's being brought back to life and could serve as a roadmap for survival.
And if you missed any of this ABC10 Weather Impact Team series, California's Dying Lakes, you can stream it right now for free on the ABC10 Plus app. The app is available wherever you stream.
Sharon asked us about Prop 32, the minimum wage question. She wants to know, will raising the minimum wage continue to drive restaurant prices even higher? Well, we have a whole video explaining Prop 32 and its plan to increase California's minimum wage to $18 an hour instead of the forecast $16.50 next year. And the answer, Sharon, is not a sure thing, but it could lead to a bigger check for your next meal. Whenever labor costs go up, business owners have options for dealing with that. Raising prices is one of them, if it doesn't scare the customers away. Businesses can also keep prices the same and just absorb the cost, reducing their profits. Others might say employees could do with less of those, and that's why you can't just walk up to a Taco Bell counter anymore and tell somebody what you want. They replace the workers with you. You got to do the work of tapping the screen to build your order. And whatever your guilty fast food pleasure, Sharon, I should tell you Prop 32 shouldn't make that cost more because California recently enacted a new special minimum wage of $20 an hour for most fast food workers. That's not going to change whether Prop 32 passes or fails. Thank you so much for the question, Sharon. Now I'm hungry, though.
Today's Why Guy question from Alex. What happens if someone votes by mail, say 2 weeks before the election, but they die before Election Day? Does their vote get counted?
Alex, we've wondered that too, and it goes all the way back to the 1960 election for president, where accusations were rampant of voter fraud in Chicago on behalf of John F. Kennedy. People who were long dead in Cook County, Illinois, were suspected of voting, pushing Kennedy past Richard Nixon in a very close race. We are expecting a big return of ballots before November 5th, as people have already started filling them in and mailing or dropping them off. If you want to make sure your vote is counted, then get your ballot in the mail as soon as you can. From Sacramento County Elections, quote, if a voter casts their ballot either by mail or at a vote center, then passes away before Election Day, their vote is still counted. They were alive when the ballot is cast, so it is counted, end of quote. Sacramento County adheres to rules dictated by the state and federal elections code. Once a ballot is cast, whatever happens to the person who cast it is not an issue. So fill out that ballot and get it in because you never know. feeling
You
a little
never know.
feeling a little under the weather today. I better get to the
Go
ballot
right now.
box. Yeah, want to get that thing in the system before it's
too late.
Too late. All right, welcome back. We are 8 days away from Halloween, and a man in Rockland has transformed his home into quite a spectacle.
The display has become so big and bright, it's caught the attention of newscasts around the world.
ABC 10's Mark S. Allen is with this gentleman, and this home has become a Halloween and certainly soon Christmas landmark. Mark?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll touch about the Christmas. So, Keegan, you inspired your neighbors because of the Halloween lights. Now they're more wanting to get a part of the action. Not so much for the Halloween, but because of this, Christmas blows up on Jackson Court.
It does, yeah. So we attach all of our neighbors to controllers, and it's a whole court that blinks to the music, and it's just a really great event for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'll cut past the technical, but essentially he runs a line or at least a connecting device to all the different houses, so every house in this court is synced to this guy's music, which is awesome. What radio station do they tune into as they drive by?
88.5 FM.
Got it. And he has gotten complaints. This was on BBC News. This was on NBC National News. This was on, of course, ABC10. Because of the attention, the heat, people are saying, what about your power consumption?
That it's using a waste of power, and you know, it's really not. It's running off 2 circuits, and it's all up through solar power. So
they drive past the giant LCD billboards leading up to this on 65 and complain about this. It's awesome. What kind of feedback do you get from people driving by?
People just love it generally. It's a great event for the kids, brings the community together. It's just all around a good event. Come check it out.
All right, so the power that is on top of the Golden One that shoots that purple beam in the air, 4 times that amount of power shooting these lights. They're not laser. However, they do illuminate the sky for up to like 5 miles.
Yeah, they go way in the sky at easily 1,000 feet, not laser, but they're lamp-based. So, yeah, they very awesome lights, though.
Yeah. The neighbors to the right, these are the ones I'm most concerned about because in that little green space, you've got flamethrowers.
We do. Between the houses, there's 3 flamethrowers, and yeah, you definitely want to check those out. They're on Friday and Saturday nights only, though.
This is awesome. His wife was leaving for work and walked past us earlier, and I said, did you see this coming? Did you know you were getting into all this when you married this guy? She seems to take it well.
She does. She does. It's all a little hobby for me. All the money comes from a little side job that I do, so it all works out well, and everybody has a great time with it.
There you go. I'm going to have you guys go out on this, a little sounds and sights sample. It's Jackson Court in Rockland for all of your Halloween light music needs.
Mark, how long did it take him to get all of these lights, or did he buy it all at once? Was this a big purchase?
Yeah, did you buy them all at once, or how did this happen?
Definitely evolved over several different years.
Evolve!
It started with a pumpkin with a candle in it, and then everything went nuts.
Then the fire came.
And then we have this.
Now we're on TV.
Check it out. It is in Rockland. Mark S. Allen, thank you.
Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app. You can get your news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
Weekday mornings on ABC 10.
I know what we're doing.
We're getting you ready.
Oh, you're going to know first.
About the breaking news that affects you.
What happened overnight right here in Northern California.
And across America.
Plus my 10-day forecast helping you plan and keeping you safe.
That's how we do mornings.
So you're ready to take on the day.
ABC 10 Morning News.
And Good Morning America.
Right here on ABC 10.
See you weekday mornings starting at 5.